Dads, what's the most insane thing a bus driver has ever done to your child? My 8-year-old son, Ethan, came home one Tuesday looking like the world had just ended. Shoulders slumped, eyes down, backpack half open. When I asked what happened, he told me the bus driver, a woman named Carol, made him sit in the very front seat for the whole ride home because he was being loud and disruptive. Now here's the thing about Ethan. This kid is so shy he whispers when ordering chicken nuggets at McDonald's. Getting him to say "here" during roll call is a small miracle. The idea of him causing chaos on a bus is about as believable as a goldfish starting a bar fight. But every day that week, Ethan got on the bus perfectly fine and came home looking defeated. Carol had him parked in the front row of shame, what she called reflection row, and she started dropping him off 15 minutes late each day, claiming she had to drive extra carefully when misbehaving children were aboard. That was the first red flag. I asked around the neighborhood, and that's when one mom, Rachel Williams, told me her daughter Mia sits in the back and had been watching the whole circus unfold. According to Mia, the real culprit was a kid named Logan. He sat in the very last row and spent the entire ride throwing paper wads, making animal noises, and yelling random nonsense like he was auditioning for a reality show about terrible children. Here's the kicker. Every time Carol turned to check what was happening, Logan would point straight at Ethan and say, "It was the quiet kid up front," and somehow Carol believed him. She'd been punishing Ethan all week for the chaos happening 20 feet behind him. Oh, and one more detail. Logan was Carol's son. At this point, I had to see it with my own eyes. So when a field trip came up, I volunteered as a parent chaperone. I climbed onto Carol's bus and immediately spotted Ethan, slouched in the front seat looking miserable, while Logan lounged in the back row like a king. We weren't even out of the parking lot before the nonsense started. Logan was throwing goldfish crackers like confetti, making dinosaur growls, smacking the seat in front of him. The second Carol peeked in her mirror, Logan went silent, pointed at Ethan and said, "Carol, the front seat boy is making faces at me." Carol actually pulled over. She turned around and gave Ethan this lecture about bus behavior, while Logan sat behind her holding a paper airplane. I was sitting there watching this woman discipline the wrong child while her own kid sat there smirking, and I realized this has probably been happening all year. That's when I decided enough was enough. I stood up, turned around, and said, "All right, kids, raise your hand if Logan has been the one causing problems this whole time." It was like a wave. Every single kid, kindergartners, 5th graders, even the ones who looked half asleep, shot their hands in the air immediately. 30 plus hands, unanimous. Even Ethan looked shocked at the sheer solidarity. Carol's face went pale, then red, then about 17 other shades as the realization hit. Her precious son had been running the longest con in elementary school bus history. He'd been turning the bus into his personal jungle gym and blaming the quietest kid in sight every time. The rest of that field trip was tense. Carol kept her eyes glued to the road. Ethan kept staring at his shoes, and Logan sat in silence for the first time, clearly realizing his empire had crumbled. By Monday morning, I was in the principal's office with half a dozen other parents. Turns out Ethan wasn't the only kid Logan had thrown under the bus, literally. Any quiet kid who sat near the front eventually got fingered as the culprit. Parents swapped stories of their kids coming home upset for weeks, and everything lined up. Carol got officially written up for negligent supervision. Logan got banned from the bus for 2 weeks, and the school, realizing how out of hand things had gotten, assigned a permanent bus monitor to ride along. Carol went from running her route like a kingdom to driving under direct adult supervision every single day. The results were immediate. Ethan could finally sit with his friends again, laughing and smiling on the ride home instead of trudging through the front door like he'd been through war. Logan still tried to act out, but this time there was an adult in the back waiting to catch him mid-throw. And Carol? Every time she sees me at pickup now, she gives me this strained, uncomfortable smile, like she's hoping I don't bring up the great finger-pointing scandal of 2nd grade.